Hey, Yinz guys and gals, gather round for a journey like no other. It's time to hop on board the Where Yinz Goin podcast, proudly brought to you by Dreams by Design Travel. From the rivers that meet at the point to form downtown Pittsburgh to the furthest corners of the globe, that'll be your compass, your confidant, your companion in that as we explore the wonders of travel. Kick back, relax on your couch, and let the wanderlust wash over Yinz as we discover new horizons and reminisce about old favorites. With Dreams by Design Travel by our side, the sky's the limit. Join Matt on the Where Yinz Goin podcast because when it comes to travel, the journey's just getting started. And now, without further ado, let's give a shout for your guide through the highways and byways of travel, the man with a map, the voice of the steel city, Matt Trader.
How Yinz doing? Welcome to the Where Yinz Goin podcast, brought to you by Dreams by Design Travel. I'm Matt. I'm one of the hosts. Joining me again are Maureen and Katie. So we get to talk about the Aulani, a Disney resort and spa in Ko Olina, Hawaii. Again, Maureen, do you want to do the introduction? Actually, we should say aloha, everybody. And then, Maureen, you have the spiel
Aloha.
that they did all the time.
Yes, welcome to Aulani, a Disney resort and spa in Ko Olina, Hawaii.
That's my favorite thing ever. I would like you to go ahead and record my voicemail. Welcome to the city.
Welcome to Aulani, a Disney resort and spa. I just love it.
So we talked about this last episode and we went through a lot of stuff, but there is just so much to do here that we split it into two different podcast episodes. So we're going to go back and we're going to pick up where we left off. And we finished with the swimming pools last time. So we're still going to talk about water things you can do, but now actual out in the ocean water things you can do. So first thing is Rainbow Reef, which is a saltwater lagoon, and you can rent snorkeling gear to use here. And whenever you rent the snorkeling gear, it includes the entrance fee. And of course, if you pay the entrance fee, you also get snorkeling gear. So basically, to go here and snorkel, it's well, at the time of recording, it's roughly about $25. So it's not horrible. It's a fairly reasonable price.
And you do, like Katie had said too, you definitely do. I recommend the length of stay pass. It's more economical to do it. And I spent so much time there, it paid off for me to have the length of time to stay.
So you can go into this, it's a man-made, like, I want to say, like, for lack of a better thing, it's like a huge old man-made, like, swimmable aquarium. Like, it's huge. It's massive. It sits up on a deck. You can purchase your length of stay pass there. That's all. They have a little hut. That's where you purchase your snorkel gear. It's also where you can sign up in the mornings for the fish feeding. They have fish feeding times. You pay a really nominal fee, and then they let you feed the fish and stuff. But you can go in and out all day long from the time that they open until the time they close. So if you want to go and do it for like 15 minutes, and then you want to go do something else, you can come back and do it again. And it's kind of a different experience. I don't know how it was with you, Maureen, but my husband and daughter did it a ton. And they said, like, every time they saw something different, or it was just really neat, really cool.
It's my favorite thing. It's cold. I will tell you, it's very cold. You got to get used to that. I recommend wearing those swim shirts, the long sleeve swim shirts. That did help. The first time we went there, we did not have those. It was cold. By the end of our week, I was getting more used to it. So I was going to go regardless because I just loved it.
So my family, we are big snorkelers. And when I say we, I'd like to say that collectively we are big snorkelers. I am not a huge snorkeler. But this was so neat because you will not see the amount of fish. There is no way that you will encounter as many different varieties and the colors and everything like that you will in Rainbow Reef. I took the opportunity to talk to one of the cast members that's in charge of it, and he takes people out and does like private tours and they go out and go snorkeling all the time. And he's like, it's really neat to do that in Hawaii. And he's like, you should definitely do that at least once. But he's like, for like the amount of money that you're going to spend and the amount of sea life that you will encounter, Rainbow Reef is where it's at.
Well,
And it's really,
go ahead.
I was going to say, it's really a good opportunity, especially if you have young kids. Pay the $25, and it's a little bit, I believe it's a little bit less for
I think it is.
under
Yeah.
12. Pay that money, let them try it, see how they do in a very contained area. And then you can go out and do it like in the open ocean, because snorkeling is different when you've got waves crashing against you and everything like that. And it would be awful if you spent hundreds and thousands of dollars to go snorkeling in Hawaii and your children aren't ready to do that. And this is a really good chance to see if that's something they're going to love, or if maybe it's something that you put on the list of when you come back and do it some other time when they're a little bit older.
Well, I liked it. I am not a real strong swimmer. I love the beach. I love the ocean. I'm not a strong swimmer. I loved it because there's lifeguards right there. And I know they're right there. And I felt very comfortable. This was the first time I think that my daughter snorkeled, and she just loved it. She was like me. She was in there almost as much as I was. And what's really cool is the first time we went snorkeling, we did it in an ocean. We did it in Mexico. I liked it. My husband did not. He just did not like that feeling. He felt claustrophobic with the mask on, trying to breathe through his mouth. This time he bought a full face mask with him, and he was actually able, before we left there, to snorkel in the Rainbow Reef and enjoyed it and got to see the fish, which was really cool.
So cool.
It's so much fun. And they're really good too about not keeping the crowds. At least when we were there, they would let so many people in, and then when people come out, other people would go in. So sometimes you may have a wait to get into the pool, but it's not a long time, but they don't want that many people in. And what I also like is that you don't wear fins in the Rainbow Reef because they don't want you kicking the fish. And the fins always create major havoc with me in the ocean. I can't walk in them. I feel awkward in them. So you don't wear them there because they don't want you kicking the fish, that's kind of cool too.
This is a very a big deal, like the conservation efforts that Disney is known for. That if you go to Animal Kingdom, if you experience Animal Kingdom Lodge, if you sit and talk to the animal keepers there, and you listen to what Disney is doing for these animals, this is the same thing with these fish. When we were there, they had shut down Rainbow Reef for an hour or so because they were gathering up some of the little babies that had been born that were old enough now and releasing them into the ocean. Such a cool thing, right? They start their life
so
out
cool.
in a little contained area, and then they get to go out and be.
It's so cool. The other thing I would suggest to people too, and we found this out after the first time we were there, the rocks are very slippery and they're very hard to walk on. So we got those little water socks to wear. You're allowed to wear those in there. So I wore water, so we all wore water socks, and I saw a lot of people doing that. It's because those rocks are very slippery and they're hard to walk on to get in. Once you're in, you're fine.
And the decks get pretty hot too.
Yeah. Oh yes. Very much.
You'll want embrace your inner beach nerd, because the decks get pretty darn hot on your feet. And the thing about Aulani's pool areas and things like that is you're going to drop your stuff off on some chairs somewhere, and then I guarantee you're going to be all over the complex doing a ton of different things. And what you're not going to want to do is have to go back, grab your flip-flops or grab your shoes to make your way somewhere else, because you want to take it all in. There's so many things to do and see. So water shoes are a great option there.
And we learned the hard way about the water sock things this past summer, that we were at a bunch of different water parks whenever we were in Indonesia and Malaysia traveling and everything. And my wife bought a pair because she forgot her sandals. And so you could wear the water socks all throughout the park, like even on the water slides. And we had to take the sandals off. So we were walking bare feet on sometimes hot concrete and up these, metal steps. And I bought a pair as soon as I got home. It was like, all right, I have these for next time. And especially because
what you don't know is Matt's wearing them right now.
Right. That's right.
Well, actually they're about 15 feet that way. So yeah. And especially because we knew that we were going to Disney in January, and starting in January, on the day of your arrival at Disney, you get free admission to their water parks. And so we made arrange our schedule that we can get there, that we're actually going down a couple days earlier to do a few other things in Florida, like Legoland and, uh, you know, just to look around and other things. And we have it specifically so that we can be, getting to Blizzard Beach or Typhoon Lagoon earlier in the day so we can do a full day of it. So,
My favorite. I love both of those water parks. They're incredibly fun.
speaking of which, stay tuned for episodes about those right before New Year's because that's when there's gonna, you get your free stuff. So, and Maureen, the if you're in Pittsburgh, those rocks would be called slippy. So they're not
Slippy.
slippery,
Okay.
it's slippy.
Okay. Slippy.
So
Got it.
Pittsburghese
Got
word.
it.
And you mentioned about the full face mask. We got one of those for our little girl that we went snorkeling whenever we were in Indonesia as well. And so it's the one that covers your entire face, and you
Mm-hmm.
don't have to worry about something in your mouth. You just
Right.
breathe, and then the snorkel comes up above your head. And oh, she loved it. She had that thing on all the time, and she could not get enough of it.
We all three got them, and they, yeah. Even
I never
I mean, I can do with a mouth one, but the full face one, it made a huge difference.
Yeah, we grew up. My parents had a swimming pool since we were, oh geez, 7, 8 years old, at least for me. And so that's how we spent summers. And we would have the mask and the snorkel and, just swim around all day with that thing. So I got used to it. I grew up with those things. So they never bothered me. But still having that full, I agree, the full thing is it's different.
It is.
Also with Rainbow Reef, anyone who is 11 or under will need an adult with them. So they need adult supervision. Although I wouldn't want my little kid to go in anyway without me. It's like, you're not having fun without me. No, I'm joining you. So other things you can do with water is the Ko Olina Lagoon, and they have sailing there. And they also have Makiki Joe's. And this is where you can get your snorkeling gear for Rainbow Reef and get the pass and everything. They have boogie boards, life jackets, which are free, along with beach chairs and umbrellas. You can just rent them without a cost. It's all included with your stay. Then there's other things you can rent for an extra cost, like the snorkeling gear, stand-up paddle boards. You can get beachside casabellas, which are like a 2-seat lounger with an awning, so you can get a bit of shade. And the Ama casabellas, which there's various levels of this you can go to, and it depending on the level you're at, you can get food. So that's the magic word.
So Makiki Joe's is named after, so there's a whole like little area that kind of pays homage to Joe and what he did for Aulani and everything like that. And there's Little Ophelia's, I believe I'm saying that right, that is like a little like snack shack that's right there as well. And Little Ophelia was his assistant. And so she was like his right-hand man, but a woman. So his right-hand woman who did all of these really great things and helped him to like achieve his greatness. And so he has this neat little snack shack that's named after his.
That's cool.
So cool. And like little things like that, like little attentions to detail are what makes Disney magical. And like when you know the stories behind these little things, it makes you feel like you're a part of it. And we've talked about this in the first episode. Really and truly, Aulani makes you feel like you are a part of just something so wonderful and so comfortable that it's hard to go back to regular life afterwards because you're like, but my heart's in Hawaii.
And I think we talked about it too, is that the cast members and the people down there are so proud and really want to share all this with you. They are delighted to explain things to you.
Yes. So the lagoon, I absolutely love the lagoon. And I will tell you why I love the lagoon. I have a 14-year-old daughter who is a swimmer, and she's an amazing swimmer, like very good at it. But still, she's 14 years old, and like swimming out in the open ocean, especially when you're from a landlocked state like I am, we just don't have a lot of opportunities to do that. She's a much better swimmer than her dad or I am. There is no way we can keep up with her. And it was so comforting to know that she was in this lagoon with these kind of the barriers that they build up around it. So the waves aren't crashing in hard. They're softened a little bit, And she swam back and forth and all over this lagoon. And I didn't worry about her because there was kind of that little bit of safety that it is the ocean, but it has a little bit of a barrier to it. And I saw so many young families with their little ones out. And what a great way to experience the ocean without experiencing a lot of like the heavy duty, like the unknown of big waves and stuff like that. I mean, you still get to like take it all in and you're still swimming in the ocean, but with a little bit of like kind of swimming with guardrails if you want to.
That's how I felt, because I said before, I am not a strong swimmer, but I love the ocean. That made me feel more secure because I knew there were those barriers. I knew it wasn't going to be as rough. The lifeguards are watching because they will go out and get somebody that swam out too far. We saw it happen. But I would take one of those boogie boards and I'd go float out there, and I was in my happy place. I mean, I was just, y'all come back and get me when you want to do something. I am right here. It was that and Rainbow Reef. Yep.
The beach is like perfect. Beautiful water, beautiful, like everything that you imagine a Hawaiian vacation beach, that perfect postcard picture that you want to take of the beach and the ocean, the brag one, the one that you're like, yeah, I wasn't at work, I was here, and let me show you what I was doing. That is this beach. Beautiful, so pretty, so well kept. Beautiful sand, nice lounge chairs, plenty of room to sit, plenty of room to just relax, and just a really serene place to kind of take it all in and think about how lucky you are that you're there.
And when you go down to where the lagoon is, off facing the water to the left, there's a big grassy area, and we sat down there. We'd sit in, a lot of people would go and sit in the evening to watch the sunset because it's the most beautiful thing in the world to see that sunset over in the Hawaiian Islands. And we'd be sitting in the grass and just watching it lower. And everybody was just, it wasn't a lot of running around. It wasn't a lot of noise. It's almost this quiet, everybody together watching. It's great.
So when I was there, I had to suppress my inner Lilo from Lilo and Stitch. Do you remember the scene from Lilo where she has her camera and she's taking pictures of all the tourists and everything like that? And so there was this they have a beautiful wedding chapel there. Yes. That is absolutely stunning. Like the perfect place to start, like your story, like just the perfect place. And there was a huge bridal party taking those pictures out on the beach that, like if you've been married for a while and you're like, oh, the laundry, he leaves his socks on the floor all the time. You would be able to pull up this picture and be like, yeah, it's still worth every bit of it. And so I watched this wedding party get their pictures taken, and it was just it made me teary-eyed, and I like really did. I had to like not be like that person that was like, hi, can I take your picture? Because this is so wonderful. I'm so excited for you. And yeah, it was just beautiful. Just it's so good. And we would walk the lagoon is kind of set up where each hotel has a little lagoon set in front of it. And there's a walkway that you can take, and you can walk all the way from one end to the other and flip around. And we would walk that every morning.
Oh, would we? Yep.
So many families out making memories, so many couples out just enjoying it. It was one of those trips, at least for my family. We are go, go, go people. We do a lot of things, a lot of times. And this was, like Maureen was saying, one of those trips where you could just kind of take it in and sit and watch the sunrise or sit and watch the sunset and know that there's nothing more important than that you're doing.
Yeah.
And you make a good point there with the morning walks, or where it's kind of quiet and you're just taking it easy and strolling, or that evening when you're sitting watching the sunset, that often the most memorable things about a vacation or just family time are the quiet moments. Like if the evening, it's a Saturday night or whatever, that you're just staying at home and you're just watching a movie on TV and you have your popcorn and little snacks or whatever you're doing. Those little things can be just as memorable as the big things of, oh, we went on this roller coaster together at this amazing amusement park, and the little things can be just as important. So, anything else about fun water stuff you would like to go into before we talk about food?
Pack your sunscreen.
Oh, yes. Please pack your sunscreen.
Pack your sunscreen. Pack a couple of different suits if you're like me, because you want to make sure that it doesn't look like you spent your whole time in your suit, even though you're going to.
And a more important thing on that is after you wear it one day in the water, if it's not quite dry yet, and then you put it on, cold bathing suits. Ugh. Cold and damp bathing suits. No.
See, this is what I need you for, Matt, so that you can call my husband and be like, there's a reason why she's packing 7 suits for a 3-day trip.
Yeah, although at some pools, and I'm sure your daughter gets this too, is that the pools now, they have the little spinner that dries off your swimsuit pretty good. So I need to get one of those at home. So with the food, now this episode's airing. We couldn't get to this last episode right after Thanksgiving, but most of these restaurants offer a Thanksgiving dinner in some way, shape, or form. And mostly it's the normal traditional foods, but then they have a Hawaiian twist to it. So it's pretty neat. And most of these or I think all the restaurants can accommodate most food allergies, vegetarian, kosher meals, things like that. Just have to talk to the cast member whenever you're making the reservations, or talk to your travel agent, who will then talk to the cast member when they make your reservations. So we're going to start off with Ama Ama, which is contemporary. It's called Ama Ama Contemporary Island Cooking, which, believe it or not, has contemporary Hawaiian food. So very convenient. And you're going to notice this about the names of most of these restaurants is that it has whatever name it is, and then it has a description of that restaurant. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts about what you're getting. This one's an open air restaurant. It overlooks Ko Olina Beach, and it's beside the Waikolohe Valley Pool, and it pretty much resembles a beachside house with a thatched roof, a fountain, has a reflecting pool. So real nice, kind of a casual environment.
Casual in the sitting, but definitely not casual in the menu. This
No.
is the upscale restaurant of Aulani. So this is where you're going to go and you're going to have that anniversary dinner at, that birthday dinner at, this is where you're going to celebrate something big or just celebrate the fact that you're in paradise. My tip with this restaurant is we ran into a really lovely couple that were there, and they had eaten here, and they made their reservation, and nobody told them that they were making their reservation 15 minutes after sunset.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they missed this beautiful sunset, and the food was spectacular, and it was still worth it. But this is where a travel agent comes in handy. This is where you need Maureen and Matt and me, because we're going to tell you, hey, this is the restaurant that you want to do this special celebration at, and then this is the time that we're going to make help you make a reservation for, because there's something to be said about a perfect beachside restaurant that has food that you will be thinking about for years to come and the perfect view.
We didn't go this last time, but Mike and I went the first time we went, and it was incredible.
I felt so my opinion is that the food, and Maureen, you can correct me if I'm wrong, the food feels special, but not stuffy.
Oh, exactly. Yes.
You feel like there's been a lot of care given to the menu, a lot of things that you wouldn't have in everyday life, but nothing that you're like, oh dear, I don't know if I'm going to like this. Just special touches, but not feeling really not putting on airs, I guess, is what I would describe it as.
Yeah, I would agree.
Next up on our list is the Kawa'a, which is a luau, and then Kawa'a, a luau at Aulani, a Disney resort and spa.
In Ko Olina, Hawaii.
Exactly. And as you guessed, they do have a luau here. It is a Hawaiian buffet, and there are a couple different starting times depending on the time of year. It's either going to be at 5:10 or 5:40. It's going to be on the Hawai'i lawn, and you can get preferred seating or general seating.
And honestly, if you can do the preferred, it's well worth it. Because you get in earlier. We had both times we went, we had tables right up front. Um, it's you get more time to walk around. They've got activities before the luau starts, and so you have more time to enjoy that. But I think the fact that we had the tables were so good and had such great views, and the entertainers were right there in front of us. It was, if you can do the preferred, it's well worth it.
And I remember back to doing the little luau thing at the Polynesian when we were in Walt Disney World years ago. That, I mean, just that of getting to see the performers and getting to meet them afterwards, and they invited us up onto the stage at one point to actually do part of the luau, do the hula stuff like that. So it was just such a great experience, and I've seen video of the performances here, and it's stunning.
So there's a different kind of feel to the resort during this time. Like when you like probably like an hour before and even after they've completed the luau. I mean, if you don't do the luau, you're probably gonna have a little bit of FOMO. Like you're gonna feel like you missed out a bit. Because it is like the whole resort kind of takes on this like, and it's not a party atmosphere because they're very culturally aware of the fact that this is part of Hawaiian culture, that they're telling a story, but there's a very liveliness to, and like a chatter, like amongst the guests, because they're so excited to go and experience this. Like it's one of those like Hawaiian experiences that you want to make sure that you do, because it is part of what you've gone to Hawaii to do, is to experience a luau.
And it's
And
not
what I've
necessarily
heard from people who have done both the one at Aulani as well as some of the other areas that have the luau's is that this is different. Theirs is Aulani tends to be more of the Disney storytelling. So it's much more storytelling about how this came to be. And while all the luau's are stories, Disney does it in their own magical way. And I think that's where the luau's, this one in particular is different.
Well, and I think it's kind of important to say too that, like, again, we've talked about this like a lot about this resort. This isn't like a luau where Mickey and Minnie are going to be just the ones doing the hula. This isn't like, it's not a Disney character themed.
No.
It's what Disney does best. It gives you the cultural significance of what you're experiencing, gives you a background of what you are going to be doing and seeing so that you understand it. But it is not a Disney like character driven activity.
Right.
and Katie said it's not really a party atmosphere. I would say it's more of a festive atmosphere, though.
Yeah, festive is good. Because it's the way they're celebrating. So, and we kind of talked about the allergies and everything, how they handle it. Even with this, with the buffet, our daughter has a seafood allergy, and they had the chef come and walk her through the buffet line, showing her what she could and could not eat and what would be safe, and then offered to bring something separate if she needed it. So they always do their special touches.
Taking care of the guests. Next up is the Makahiki, the Bounty of the Islands, which features local food, local artwork as the decor. They have stained glass with jewel-toned murals. It overlooks a koi pond beside the Waikolohe Valley Pool, and there's also a character breakfast.
One of my favorite character breakfasts.
It's good.
It's
It's
so
much
good.
fun. I mean, even just the artwork on the walls when you first walk in, like it will take your breath away. Their murals are
But
just
they're
stunning.
beautiful. Yeah, they really are.
Next up is the Ulu Cafe, which is grab and go foods, but they also have some freshly prepared entrees. It's next to the Wailana Pool. They have poke bowls, pizza, wraps, things along those lines.
So this is where Maureen came in handy. She always comes in handy, but this is where we ordered for our evening meal one night. We ordered a kalua pork and pineapple pizza.
Oh
And
my gosh.
there's some like debate about whether pineapple should go on pizzas and stuff. But if you're in Hawaii, there's no debate about pineapple can go on everything in Hawaii. It was so good. So good.
What we laughed because in Hawaii you can have Kahlua 1,000 different ways. They have been on, we had Kahlua nachos, and we had Kahlua at breakfast, and we had Kahlua pizza. It was not Kahlua. Yeah, right. Did I say it right?
Kahlua, that's how
Yeah.
you say it. Yeah.
What's ironic? 'Cause that's what we're having for dinner tonight. We're having Kahlua pork. Mike's had it cooking all day, wrapped up in banana leaves.
We actually have banana trees in our backyard, partly partly for the reason of getting the leaves to wrap it up to make certain things. Since my
Yep.
wife she's from Southeast Asia, so it's on a Pacific island she's from, and just so you know, in our house, pineapple is allowed on pizza. So
I love pineapple on pizza, but I hate to be controversial on this. So,
well, we got all agreement here. So, and if you haven't, don't knock it till you try it. So
so this
that's
is
Oh, it's
also
actually very good. Yeah.
where you can purchase your refillable mugs. So if you are a Disney World traveler, like the value of, and your Disney Resort guest, the value of a refillable mug. They also offer refillable mugs here in Aulani. They are great. They're fantastic. They are great souvenirs to bring home. And there's a couple of different spots throughout the resort that you can fill up with your drinks and everything like that. They also have a case that is dangerous in there because it's their dessert case. And oh my gosh, their desserts are something that, first off, like, they're just so aesthetically pleasing to the eye. They're so cute and so fun that you almost feel guilty eating them. And then you take the first bite and you're like, oh, forget that. They are so good, so delicious, so amazing. So many different options for things that are just like Hawaii filling, but are great. That place gets hopping too.
Yes.
Hopping.
And as soon as Katie said the word dessert, Maureen kind of took a deep breath inside and this, look on her face of contentment and reminiscing, and then started nodding. So I think there's agreement there.
Oh, totally.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
The food at this next plate, well, this next restaurant we're talking about is just off the hook. Literally, that's the name of it. So this one has Hawaiian fishermen's. It's themed to a Hawaiian fisherman's seaside shack. So I had to make sure I enunciated there. And it has cowrie shell lures, shark tooth knives, fish hooks, fish shaped ka'ulo stones, which these are traditional things in Hawaii that are used as decoys for the fish. So this is all the decor that's hanging around the restaurant, that it really puts you into that environment. There's also a colorful school of fish, quote unquote, swimming above the bar. This is in the Waikolohe Valley pool area. It's near Ama Ama, and it's basically a sports bar, but it has some grab and go breakfast items too in the morning.
So here's a little hint or a little secret about the breakfast too. So if you grab breakfast at Off the Hook in the morning, Ama Ama isn't open for breakfast in the morning. So you can actually sit in the seats and watch the view, a morning view that you would have gotten at Ama Ama with your Off the Hook meals. One of the things I love about this is that Off the Hook, the last day that we were there, we were getting ready to travel home, and we were just hungry, but we were having a pool day and everything. So we ordered some poolside food that was brought over from Off the Hook. And I just ordered this fruit plate. And I know you're like, fruit plate, really? It was the most beautiful. I wish I could show you a picture of it. It was the most beautiful plate of like fresh berries and pineapple and melons. And it was so good. And I was like, I ordered it for myself, and my husband ordered something and my daughter ordered something. And then it was so pretty that I had to share it. So next time I go, I'm going to order my own fruit plate and hide in a corner somewhere.
I will say that at Off the Hook, we did ask about their fries because they have fries, and they don't have a separate place that they do. That's one of the places that if you've got a seafood allergy, you got to be careful getting French fries. We did discover that. Just FYI.
Yeah, one batch of oil and grease that they fry everything in.
Yep.
And Katie, how was the fruit whenever you had it in the fruit
It
plate?
was really well. I mean, it would have been good if I felt like I was gonna like lose a arm to my family.
But Maureen and
Yeah.
oh, go ahead, finish.
It was kind of like it was kind of like traveling with fruit bats that day. They were all over it.
Maureen and I talked about this whenever we talked about the Lighthouse Point episode of there's something about fruit that is grown in a tropical location that it is
That was
tastier,
the
it's
thing.
juicier, it's more colorful, that there it's just more of everything you want in fruit.
It was the same thing in Jamaica at the Sandals Resort at Negral. The fruit at the buffet was just so pretty. Like the colors are so much more vibrant, and sometimes you eat with your eyes as much as you do with your
And then
mouth.
you come back to your own grocery store and you go, it's not how it looks in Hawaii.
Yeah, and then the produce guy gives you the look like, shut up, lady.
Next up on our list is the Olelo room, and Olelo is Hawaiian for word or to converse. And there are wooden carvings with throughout the restaurant, and they have the Hawaiian name labeled on it, so you can learn some Hawaiian while you're there. This is next to Makahiki, and it also overlooks the koi pond beside the Wakalo, Wakalohe Valley Pool. There we go.
And it has
This
one of the
is
most
like-
amazing dishes ever.
It has in the morning, it has malasabas. Am I saying that right, y'all? Is that right?
Sounds
Malasabas.
good.
They are Hawaiian Portuguese donuts. And they are so I'm a beignet fan. I'm a Disney beignet fan. Like I love a Walt Disney World. You will find me at Port Orleans, French Quarter every time. I will make a special trip if I'm not staying there because I love beignets. I love the beignets, the lemon ice box beignets at Disneyland, at Tiana's restaurant. This is not a beignet, but like unfortunately beignets have had to take a back seat. I kind of pushed them aside.
Oh.
These are like so good. The guy behind the bar every morning would be like, hello, Mrs. Cowden, how many are we packing up for your family? And then how many are we packing up for you? Because I learned those I don't share. Fruit, yes. Those,
So
they
okay, I have to try them next time because we have not tried those. And I love beignets. Beignets are just, yeah.
they're so good. They're so good. And the restaurant's so just, like, you have to go, no matter what, you have to go and sit and just look at these carvings, like carvings. They're just, like, I would love to decorate my, like, library, and I don't have a library in my house, but I would like to have one with a little, like, cart thing and stuff, like the big bookshelves. This is just, like, something you've never seen before. And it is so, like, enthralling, like just to sit there and look at, and they have some of them that are hidden, kind of hidden Mickey, kind of hidden Disney, like there's lots of words that are things that you come in everyday contact with, but then there's carvings that are special just for Disney. They're so cool.
We started asking, we had the same servers, we pretty much ended up with the same ones all the time, and we had such a good time with them. And we would ask them questions like, so what's the Hawaiian word for that? Okay, so what's the Hawaiian word for that one? Because we're looking at this, but then we're asking her and they're so cute. They're so excited about sharing it.
Well, and one of the things that they have to be fluent in the Hawaiian language to work as a server at this restaurant. So it's not like they're coming in and this is something they know, and they're completely fluent in the language, and they have a story to tell. Don't sit down here and just order your au gratin and stay silent. Ask questions.
Oh yeah.
they have so much to tell you and so much to share with you, and so many really neat stories about growing up on the island, and just it was lovely. Like one of my
It
favorite things. That's
was
why we kept coming back.
we kept going every night. I think pretty much maybe once or twice we didn't go. Most of the time we were there. And we had live music there many times with Hawaiian music, and it was so much fun. And yes, the au gratin, the Kahlua au gratin is probably one of our family's favorite things we had.
They're like little plates. So not like a huge, massive amount of food. You're not gonna get like a big plate of food, but perfect for like sitting and sharing things. We had some amazing sliders there night
Oh
after
yeah,
night.
they were also good.
Like
What is
just
it in
like
Spain? Is it the tapas in Spain? It's the little plates of
yeah,
things that you
kind of like
get,
a
Yeah,
the,
kind of
similar
taco.
to
like
that.
tapas. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, and when I say small plates, I don't mean like small, like you're going to be hungry 20 minutes later. That's not it at all. They're very filling and stuff like that. But like, I'm kind of like one of those people that I hate it that I have to order a big meal at a restaurant because then I don't get to taste a lot of different things. And this is perfect because you can order a lot of small dishes and then you have like a really big variety of things. But I'm telling you right now, the au gratin, there's like nothing like it.
Nope. Yeah. In fact, when I was going back through, I had to get back because Casey was asking, do you think it's still there? I said it's still there right now, and it better be still there. We're there because we're going to have to ask him for it because it was just incredible. It was amazing.
So if we haven't talked you into booking a trip here for all the other things that are
Right?
phenomenal at Aulani, this is the reason. This is the tipping point. This is the last little grain of sand that tips it over to you wanting to like call us to make this reservation because it's so good.
It's so good.
And Maureen, did you have a little bit of a detail listed here about what's in that?
Yeah, it's basically it's like an au gratin dish, so you know it's going to have cheese in it, and anything with cheese is right up my alley. But it's Kahlua pork, cream cheese, Maui onions, which I'm assuming it's an Hawaiian onion, Parmigiano and Reggiano cheeses, and tomato, and then you have naan bread to dip it in. And we would take that naan bread and just wipe that bowl. I mean, we ordered and we did what you guys did, Katie. We had several things that we would share. That was always one of them. I don't care what else we had. That was always one of them on there. And
Can
it's
go more
baked.
than
There's this
once.
lovely bake with this lovely crunchy stuff on top with the baked cheese. Oh,
They also have some amazing drinks there that are completely like Hawaiian themed, like
yes.
perfectly Instagrammable, with drinks in like the pineapples and with the like the flowers and just pretty colors. I mean, I think that's one of the things too about Aulani is the colors are so vibrant and just there from everything that you do, the blue of the ocean, the oranges of the resort, the pinks and purples, the blues and yellows of the fish. I mean, it was just like it's a vacation in vivid hues. Like
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you have to go to really believe how beautiful it really is.
And how many times did you eat there?
We were there 8 nights, and we ate there probably at least 6.
we were there 4 nights and we ate 3 nights. And the only reason why we didn't eat the fourth night is because we didn't know the way of the world yet. And we didn't know like the siren call of the au gratin hadn't
Although
reached
Rotten
us.
hadn't been there.
Yeah.
So we have a consistent 75% attendance rate. Okay.
Yep, and we did go across the street to they've got the little shopping area across the street, and we went across the street. Um, we said it while it was fun, it was good, it was different. We probably would have been fine staying back on property again. It was okay.
Next up is the Wailana Pool Bar. And Wailana is the Hawaiian word for calm or quiet. And this is an 18 plus only location. So you see where the calm and quiet comes from. This has Hawaiian food, burgers, wraps, pizzas, salads. So again, stuff that you're going to grab along munch on side by the pool,
And they'll
things
come
along those
take your
lines.
order and bring your food to the pool over there. So they'll come around and that's where I had poke nachos that were unbelievable.
So you have the recommendation, the Pokemon nachos. Go for it.
Well, and I love the fact that they'll bring it to you. Like that you're not going to miss out on something because I know that like as a mom, sometimes or even just as a wife, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'll just go grab that, but then I'm like, oh, I don't really go stand in line, and then I have to bring all the food back, and I have to do like the shuffle, and like I just didn't like, and it's so wonderful. You just put your order in, they bring it to you. You really do feel like I mean, so the whole, again, one of the other themes is this is like the absolute best beach vacation. Like it's like the beach vacation that you take that you're like, everything else is going to compare to this. And
Right.
because it has that Disney touch to it, right?
Yep.
And I was going to say, we went around to the other resorts that are around and they are beautiful. There is no doubt. Like I will gladly, if that's what you want to do, I will gladly make that happen for you too. But this has a feel to it of family. Now, that's not to say that you can only go here if you have little ones or kids. This is a perfect resort. We've said this before for couples, for newlyweds, anniversaries, baby moons, all of those things. But it has like this just comfort to it and like you belong there. And it's even in the food. Like you can just feel like they think of things like maybe you don't want to be like ordering food, standing in line, ordering food. Maybe you want to be taking in that view. We'll bring it to you and make it better for you.
And I think too, we visited a couple of the other resorts as well, and they're lovely. But you could take that resort and put it in any other place, and it would still be that resort. Aulani feels like you're in a special space. It's not like anywhere else.
I was going to say, and this is probably a bit of a stretch, but it almost feels like sacred, like a spot that you don't necessarily want to tell everybody about, but you want to share it with them because it's that good. It would be selfish to not say something.
What you said about being a sacred space, it's a reverential space.
Mm-hmm.
That the way it is designed, that all of Aulani is designed, is that it shows reverence for the local culture. So
I love that. Yes.
Yeah, very much so.
And next up, they have aunties that we talked about last episode. Now there's mamas, and this is Mama's Snack Shop.
Best chicken fingers ever.
Ooh, we did get those one time. They were.
So good.
Yes.
So many dipping sauces to choose from.
Yes.
Tons and tons of sauces to choose from. Really good fries too. Like really good fries.
And Maureen, what's your recommendation for this?
I was just putting in, I wanted to remember that we had the Kahlua pork pizza. So I just put it in there, but Katie talked about that. That was just one of my favorite pizzas ever.
So I don't know about you guys, but Disney's not really known for their pizzas.
No, they're not.
Like if you're going to go have pizza at Disney, you're gonna maybe not be like, it's not gonna, it's a pizza, but a lot of Disney's pizzas are kind of, I hate to say lackluster, but a little disappointing. Not here. They're so good. They're like, they redeem themselves with Aulani pizza.
Yes.
So good.
And this place is near the Wakalohe pool. It has Hawaiian style fish as well, and also some other snacks. Next up is the Papalua Shave Ice. This is next to Mama's Snack Shop. And so the way they have this up is you have 3 different base options of shaved ice cream, or condensed sweet milk. And then you have the toppings like mango, pineapple, coconut, orange, guava, leaky koi. Is that how leaky koi? Likoi. And then they have also other ones too.
So good.
So here's
good.
So these are like pretty big, like
They're
you can
pretty,
share
yeah,
them.
they're pretty big, yeah.
But what makes them so spectacular is they put Mickey ears on them.
They make
So,
them in a little ball with the two little Mickey ears, and I mean, Casey and I shared one. They're big.
and then I don't know about how you were, Maureen, but I was like, well, what color would look best in my photos? Because we can't do all reds. Like we can't
Right.
do
You have to make sure that
strawberry
there'll be
and
different colored
berry.
toppings.
There
Yeah.
have some contrasts and everything like that. They are so good.
And I'm a sucker for sweetened condensed milk. So you have that on there, but oh my goodness.
And so you just
And
have to go back once every day or twice every day and just try them all and then get your Instagram picture and therefore
There's
they
a
can
whole bunch
compare
of
and
toppings.
figure out.
That'd be a lot to try.
And they're very like I felt like this was like one of the most reasonable snacks, like price wise, very reasonable, totally shareable between like three people, especially if you eat fast enough that you get that cold headache. But a very reasonable price for this, and it's so cute. The little shack actually has it has Christmas lights, and instead of being little lights, they're all shaped like little snow cones.
Oh, that's awesome. And how do you get rid of the brain freeze when you eat it too quickly? Do you have a remedy for that?
Chicken fingers next door.
That'll work.
Yeah. Kahlua pork au gratin.
So, quick ways if you have water or something to drink that because what's really happening is the back of your throat gets too cold. So, the other thing that I've done is if you hold your nose most of the way and like breathe out of your nose. So you can get that so the water air doesn't come all the way come out. It kind of like goes back through your nasal passage and the warm air will then warm the back of your throat and helps to get rid of it quicker. So you're not like holding your nose completely like you're gonna pop your ears. You let a little bit come out, but then you blow out and it can help it. But getting a drink of water that's not ice cold would also work. So see, you get all kinds of stuff here.
Oh yes, please. Hold on. I'm getting a sample of Kahlua pork. Sorry. He just took it out and he's a sample. I'm like, oh yes, please.
Taste test live on air.
Absolutely.
So while we're waiting for that, let's see. Here it comes. Maureen's doing the dance.
So good. So good. Okay, I'm good now.
You don't get that on every podcast, right?
Right?
The last place we're going to talk about for food is one that Katie mentioned earlier. It's Little Opihi's, Opihi. So and it's a beachside kiosk, and it's on the Ko Olina beach. It has fresh fruit, ice cream, and, of course, Dole whips.
They have watermelon Dole whips here. So they have watermelon. They have the traditional pineapple too. They'll do the swirl. You have to have a Dole whip if you're like in like Dole, like the birthhood of Dole, right? Like it just doesn't seem like
you have to at least, yeah, right.
Yeah. They're delicious. They're good. There's nothing better than watching your daughter swim back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with a Dole Whip in your hand.
It makes it much better.
Yeah.
And Katie says it like she's been to a couple swim meets and swim practices in her life.
I just did one on Saturday, 4 a.m.
Oh,
4 a.m. Don't sign up for swim meets if you're not a morning person. And I'm not a morning person. Anyways, I digress.
Morning person. I'm usually just getting in then, you know? But keep watch out for Katie's daughter in the Olympics in a few years.
There you go.
And it'll say Katie's daughter swimming for the USA.
Like, can she not swim at 4 a.m.? No, I can cheer for her anytime, but not 4 a.m. So
depends on where you are and where the Olympics are that year. So with the time change.
I need to tie this in though. This is the thing. Like, I absolutely love the fact that I have the opportunity to make memories like this trip. Like, my daughter is a swimmer. She loves to swim. She wanted to swim in the ocean. She wanted to experience that. And as a mom, you have those things that you're like, oh, that can be a little bit stressful. Like, what if she like gets too far out? What if she, and this trip was one of those things that she got to mark off something on her bucket list at 14 years old, something on that. Maureen said this, and I love this. She said, the champagne list, like the things that make something special. So and I love that analogy, probably better than bucket. But that's what travel is about. That's why you take your kids. That's why you want to take your kids places. That's why you want to go with your spouse, because let's be honest, the everyday things can kind of get annoying and they're a lot. And so it's good to like come back to remember that trip that you got to swim in Hawaii. So phenomenal. Just so good.
And so other things that will make you feel so good. This is Aulani, a Disney resort and spa. So let's talk about the
Ko
spa.
Olina, Hawaii.
And
It's going to be my tagline now. That's all it's going to be.
every time we mention it doesn't seem like it's not complete if you don't say it, Maureen.
Exactly.
So keep doing. So this is is it Lani Wai or Lani Y for the
I
pronunciation?
believe it's Hawai'i because I think
Wai
they
with the
pronounce
I.
all the
Every-
every letter.
Yeah, usually this is where they have the little accent mark typically there, and it's not there, so I wasn't sure. So LANIWAI. And a couple of different things you can get there. One is the Kili Kili, which translates to fine, gentle rain, which is a full body exfoliation. There's the signature Lomi Lomi, which is a traditional Hawaiian massage, and they use Lomi Lomi sticks and warm river stones as part of it to put on you. And there's something about the combination of specific heat and cold, or warm and cold, whatever, that can put in the right spot is just amazing, that it does something to your body. And so if you can get the warm river stones in the right spots, and of course they're going to do it there because they're professional masseuses, that it just does something to you. There's also the Wai Lami Lami, which is a tropical exfoliation, and it's the Lami Lami massage with a tropical massage cream. Next one up is the Kulawai. This is a 5,000 square foot area with heated pools, 6 unique waterfall rain showers, a reflexology walk, a whirlpool, and a cold plunge.
This is amazing, and it's beautiful. The first time that Mike and I went, we did get a massage, and you got to go out early and spend time out there. It's beautiful. It's relaxing. The showers, the adults are like a bunch of kids with these different showers because they're all waiting for water showers outside, and you can pull lines and they all do something different. So it's like a bunch of kids going from shower to shower, looking how these are. Oh, this is fun. Oh, this is cold. Oh, I don't like this one. It was hysterical, but it's so pretty. Sadly, you can't use it and they won't let you see it unless you've got a massage scheduled.
So, you just have to give me a massage
So you have to take the massage to go to
I
see
guess
this
I'll get
really
one.
lovely area.
They also offer couples massages. So then, bring your significant other. They have hair and nail treatments. And this is also where Painted Sky is, which we talked about in the last episode, which is basically the Hawaiian Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique for kids aged 3 to 12. And for those of you who don't just want a massage, you just have to get your exercise in.
Or if you're eating too much El Gratin.
And you have to work that off, yeah. Although vacation calories don't count. They have the Maki Maki Fitness Center, which is open 24 hours a day. It's 2,000 square feet. Kids aged 14 to 17 need adult supervision. They have strength training equipment. They have cardio, free weights. So, real nice area to get a sweat on and then justify eating more au gratin. So,
I think I found my New Year's resolution. I want to be that person that was like, yeah, there's a reason for the exercise and fitness center because I'm going to use it.
Usually I will at least go take a look at it because I want to see it. I don't think I even went and looked at it.
It's really nice. It's beautiful.
I'm sure it is, yeah.
My favorite fitness and exercise center is on the Disney cruise ships. because they set up their exercise bikes and they look out
Overlooking the water.
overlooking the
Yes.
water. So
And I used to love their morning stretches because they would be outside on the stage as the sun was coming up and we do morning stretches. It was lovely too.
I used to do hot yoga, and sometimes there would be a morning class. And I try them within. It's like I just don't stretch quite so well in the morning. That yeah, I prefer the evening ones after I'm a little bit looser after just getting up. But here they do have sunrise yoga on the beach,
they
among other
do.
fitness
They
classes.
do. I saw them. I saw
It
several
is
people doing
so
them.
cool. It
Now,
is
I
so
also
cool.
saw, did you see, Katie, when you were there, anybody doing the boot camps on the beach? That was
Yes.
killer.
Yes. So here's a little thing. So they were doing the boot camps on the beach, and there's some people that look like they were trying boot camp for the first time. Like they had been dared into doing it. And I felt so sorry for this one little lady because they kept yelling at her to catch up. And I was like, those instructors are so nasty. And then I found out it was her like middle-aged daughter. I'm like, oh, take mom to Aulani and then yell at her.
And yell at her for not keeping up. Yeah.
If that was me, I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, your key doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, no, I've done some boot camps, but that was them on the water. I mean, on the sand, number one, they're running on the sand, which is not easy. And they run down to the water and they run back up again. Like, yeah, you guys go enjoy yourself. I'm going to take a walk with my coffee. I'll be back later.
Is it rude to have a Dole Whip in your hand and heckle them?
You're on vacation.
Only if you're the boot camp constructor and your mom's doing it, then
And
you
your
can do
mom's
that.
doing it. There you go. Yes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It wasn't even the instructor. It was just her daughter just yelling at her. I
Oh,
felt so
just on the
bad for her.
side.
I felt so bad. I felt like I needed to go buy her a Dole Whip and tell her it was okay.
It's okay. You need to come sit down here and eat your Dole Whip. You don't need to run any faster.
Oh man. Besides boot camp, they do have aqua exercises where, well, maybe your daughter will yell at you from the sidelines from there. They have strength training classes as well. And then there's also a stretching area. So you can get your morning stretch in or your evening stretch without necessarily, just on your own. And of course, there are special events you can go to or plan for Aulani, like weddings and honeymoons and meetings and birthday parties. And the meetings, we were talking about this beforehand, that I think we should have a company meeting out there. We'll have to talk to Donna about that.
I'm in.
Aulani is the best. So it's when we had both the times we stayed there, we had an island view room, a garden island view room. And so we were right above not only where the luau was, but where the weddings were. We saw so many weddings. And it was so much fun to see the differences every time and have them watch how they set it up, what was different, watch which characters they chose to have at their wedding, because they could have some characters at their wedding. It was just, we sat up there so many times watching. It was so much fun.
And we saw a ton of couples that were definitely like on their like baby moon. So I think that there's a lot of like places you can't go when you are pregnant, or maybe that not necessarily can't go, but like Walt Disney World and all of the attractions and things like that. If you get far enough along, you can't necessarily have the full experience.
Yeah.
This place, Aulani, you can do everything there and like get ready for those sleepless nights and diapers and all of the things that you earn your parenting stripes with. There were so many couples that were there on their baby moons, and it was such a neat thing to like think about the fact that they're going to start their families, or they're going to add to their families, and this is like their last little bit before it starts, and then they can take their little one back. We had a ton of families that were like, the mom was like, I was pregnant with her here, and we had vacation, and we had such a lovely time that we couldn't wait to bring her back. And this is a cute little toddler that's like 2, that's just kind of like wandering through, experiencing all of the wonderfulness that Aulani has for her.
And Katie, that was a good note you said before. Let me take this down. If you're pregnant, don't try to ride Expedition Everest, and also don't try to really climb Everest. Take it easy. Got it.
You got it. Good.
See, I like doing all that stuff, so that's why I'm personally never going to get pregnant. So
Good choice.
now going beyond the resort is that you can do excursions. There, for example, zip lining.
Which my daughter and I loved to zip line, and we looked at different ones and we chose this one just because it was kind of closer to the resort. It was fun, but it wasn't as good as what I think I've seen some of the other locations are. So just, have your travel agent look for some things too, but there are lots of options that I think are better if that's something that you want to get into.
You also have nature tours, and there's a rainforest tour. There's mountain tours. You can swim with dolphins, do an island tour. You can visit Pearl Harbor because it's on Oahu. It's on that island, so
And
it's
it's well worth doing. It's well worth doing it at least one time with the visit. We've done it twice now because the first time we went, Mike wanted to do it, and my daughter's a huge history buff, so we went back again so that she could do as well.
there's also surfing, kayaking, golf, and of course shopping. And
And the
Katie
Ko
has
Olina Center, Ko Olina in Ko Olina, Hawaii, is across the street. They've got an ABC store, which is a grocery store, but they have groceries and souvenirs and a deli kind of area you can get hot food. They've got everything. Um, they also have a couple restaurants across the street and some shops. They've got a Starbucks now. They just opened, I saw online that they just opened a microbrewery across the street. And um, my favorite place over there is Eggs and Things for the best breakfast ever.
It was so good. It was so good. And if you time it right, like you can go in like so this is the kind of restaurant that they're only open for like the morning hours into like just like early afternoon. You can go over and have kind of a brunch. And their food, they have three different, or I think it's three. They have some different locations in Hawaii. Um, this is so good. So good. Like their pancakes are so pretty and their egg wraps and just
It was so good. And when we got there, our waitress was Auntie Joe, and she was apparently a mainstay there and has been there for years. And she was just, she was amazing. We had so much fun with her. She made it just, the food was excellent, and she made it that much better.
and I absolutely adored the fact that they catered to some of the Japanese tourists as well that were there. So they had menus in Japanese as well as English, and they were willing to talk to them and help them through things. I think that sometimes you can judge a restaurant by the way they treat everybody, not
Mhm.
just the tourists. This is a place that I don't know that I would say that like it's a local hangout, but there was definitely people there that weren't tourists that were coming in and ordering breakfast and everything like that. They had a few people that they recognized, and I don't know, maybe it's because they had been there for like 8 days and came back every day because it was
Every day.
well, it says something if the locals are going there too.
I will say this about Hawaii food in general, and it's just something that you need to know. It's not a negative, but just know that prices for food is a little bit more expensive than you would expect to pay stateside. So if you're going to go ahead and go, you want to make sure that you talk to us, talk to your travel agent, talk to us, and let us know. Let us help you kind of get the most bang for your buck, because that is one of the things. Like with Hawaii, you're going to pay a little bit more to eat, and if you're going to pay more to eat, then you might as well make it good.
Right.
Yeah, even though how magical Aulani is, real life creeps in, and getting things shipped to an island that's in the middle of the Pacific, it adds a little bit of an expense to things. So the last thing we'll talk about with Aulani, a Disney resort and spa.
In Ko Olina, Hawaii.
Thank you. Perfect. we got this going now, is the Luana Lounge. And Katie, you want to give more details on this?
So this is a lounge that, because you're traveling in or traveling home from Hawaii, your flight might be a little bit later on in the afternoon, it might be in the evening, and you have to check out of your room at the normal checkout time. And so they have set up a lounge for their guests that you go ahead and you give bell services your luggage. They are so friendly, so happy to hold things for you. Go ahead and experience the resort. This is not like flipping the switch and the day that you fly out, you're done and there's nothing else for you to do. You're allowed to stay at the resort. You're allowed to use the pool and go on the water slide, meet the characters, everything like that. I think we talked about it in the last episode. And I don't know if this was the case with you guys, Maureen, but we talked about the bands and how people stack the bands. Like it's kind of like the way that you can tell if you're a real big Aulani baller because you've got all of these
Right.
like
And we did.
Yep. You keep your band. They give you your band for that day that you check out, and then you're allowed to go ahead and use the resort facilities. You're allowed to do all of the things. You're allowed to do that last minute shopping that's going to make you have to shuffle things around in your luggage and everything like that. But then at the lounge, you can pick up your luggage, and then you can go get ready for that flight home. So it has 2 rooms that are separated kind of by a big block that you can choose to go left or right. They have cartoons for the kids. They have water. They have tables, and then they have locker rooms that have showers and a place to get ready, a place to kind of refresh after you've been at the pool all day long. The last thing that you want, I found my family doing this as well, where we're like, well, we have a water park pass at Walt Disney World, but we're not going to use it on the last day because then we're going to be like sunscreeny and chlorine pool and all of that for the flight home. This is awesome. So they give you a chance to go ahead and check in. You pick up your little, it's a key card that they give you. You can't stay in there all day, but you wouldn't want to because you have the chance to use all of the resort amenities. And then you can get showered and cleaned up so that you're ready to get on your flight to go home.
And they have towels and hair dryers in there as well. So when you do shower and everything, you don't unpack everything you own to get in there and shower. You have to sign up for it. And I was trying to remember how early I got there because you have to get up and be out there to the desk when they start signing up the morning you check out. I got up there really early. I was already the 3rd person in line. And so it does fill up.
It does fill up, but here's another thing too. There's a lot of guests there that have booked their own trip that knew nothing about it.
True.
They didn't know it was offered. They didn't know that they could do this. And it's not like there's not a big sign or anything like that says, hey, come on in. You have to kind of know this little trick. And so this is, again, one of those reasons why you want to book this trip with a travel advisor. This is the reason why you want to call up Maureen. It's the reason why you want to call Matt. You want to do this with us because we're going to tell you these little things that make you, even your last day when you're kind of sad about leaving paradise, a little bit better.
Right.
And then when you finally are on your way away from paradise and you get to the airport, if you stayed at Aulani, you have another little perk that you can have. Katie, you want to give more details on that?
So this is an airport lounge. I am not going to you guys can try to attempt to, I don't want to mess it up. It's just, it's not like your typical, like some of the airport lounges have like a buffet, like small plates or things like that. This one is not that. But you can sit, relax. They sell like small snacks and things like that.
Coffee was complimentary. You could get a cup of coffee. I think they had hot chocolate and probably tea. The snacks were yet to purchase. We got there really late because our flight was late. So when we got there, they were closing in about an hour, I think. But they had a TV, they had chargers so you could charge. To remember, did we have to have a reservation for that, or did we get there and get?
You have to make a reservation for it.
Okay, yeah.
That's something that we would do for our clients is help you make that reservation.
It's a little out of the way. It's not when you came out of security. It's a little out of the way. When we were there, because we were so late, it was pretty dark, and it's not really well lit when you get down there. So it's kind of like we're walking, going, Are we actually going in the right direction? Because there's nobody else down here.
So I will tell you guys a story about our trip to going back to the airport. We decided to just get an Uber because it's not that long of a trip. And our poor little Uber driver, he was doing 35 on the freeway. We actually had Polynesian grandmas flipping us off. So we got to the airport a little bit later than we had expected. So we just kind of did a drive-by of this like lounge and stuff. But I know that there's something to be said about getting ready for a long trip home or even a short trip home, having a spot that you can kind of like escape the madness of an airport. I mean, an airport is the best place to people watch and everything like that, but there's something to be said about the fact that they have this lounge for guests that makes it just kind of nice and a little bit tranquil, and you can kind of put that last little dot of this was a wonderful trip with something that's a little bit exclusive to not everybody can go into this lounge and hang out.
Yeah, the name of it is the Ko Olina Travelers Lounge.
And it's not just for Aulani, it's for anyone that's stayed in the Ko Olina area can use it.
Yep.
So, but having done several long flights and had to connect with long flights after long flights, having a place to go that is not just at another airport gate or, trudging through the airport or whatever, that is a little bit away from that atmosphere just to relax
Well, and
a
it was
bit.
clean and they had bathrooms.
So
Which
that's
is
always a
always
plus.
like,
Yeah,
those are things
it was clean. They had bathrooms too, so which is nice.
those are things that you don't think about, but that are like, you're like, oh, yay.
So, anything else that you ladies would like to add before we call it a day and move on into the travel tips?
I just can't wait for people that are listening to this to contact us about this trip, because really and truly the things that we've touched on, and I know this has been like an extended podcast, but we haven't even like delved into how, like, we've just kind of, it's definitely like we've done the cherry, but we haven't gotten into like the really like wonderful. I can't describe how phenomenal this trip was.
You can't. It's until you are there and actually can experience it. And you have to go in understanding. I think this is my tip for Hawaii. You can't go in there expecting this to be Disney World or Disneyland. It is not.
And you wouldn't want it to be.
You wouldn't want it to be, but that's what I think. The only negative I've ever heard are people that say there just wasn't enough to do. It didn't feel like I was back at a Disney park. You're exactly right. You are not back at a Disney park. You are at a paradise that you are going to enjoy and have people take care of you and learn about culture. And it's vastly different. So you can't go expecting it to be like another typical Disney-esque place.
So I think for me, and please jump in and tell me if you think that this is off base. So with our Disney Alaska cruise that we took this summer, it was very much so, this was similar in the fact that it had the Disney touches to it. It definitely was the most wonderful way to travel to a place like Alaska, the most wonderful way to travel to a place like Hawaii, because everything that you look to for Disney that keeps you coming back time and time again was there, but they're very good about helping you to understand what you're seeing and what you're doing. You're not getting on It's a Small World. You're not going to ride Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. You're not going to do Millennium Falcon. These are not the things that you're doing at this trip, but what you are doing is you're experiencing a place that you love, that will become a part of some of your best memories with that Disney touch to it. Probably very similar to maybe a Disney Adventures by Disney trip as well,
right,
where Adventures by Disney, their job is not to immerse you into Disney, but to immerse you into the places and the things that they're showing and you're visiting.
Is that your official tip, Katie, or was that just an expansion of what Maureen was saying?
You know what? So my tip for this one is go. Like, go mark it off your list. Call us. Let's get you going. Let's get you booked. Let's give you something in 2025 that's on your list that every time you like turn the calendar page, every time a day passes, you're one day closer to a phenomenal trip with Aulani. And we know our stuff. That's the thing is that, yeah, you can go ahead and book it, but why wouldn't you want to book it with somebody that knows what they're talking about, that knows these little tricks and tips and the things that will make your trip so much better? You can have a fantastic trip, but you can also have that much better with a travel advisor that knows what they're talking about and is willing to like do everything for you.
And he won't cost you anything extra.
No, and that's the thing. Like I say this a lot, but I'll say it again. You're not just a number to any of us. You matter to us. Your trip matters. There's a lot of places that you can book a trip and then that's the end of it. You book a trip and that's it. But what you want is you want to book that trip and then have somebody that you can ask, hey, what should I order at this restaurant? Hey, should I bring water shoes? Hey, what are the things you can tell me to make this trip easier, better, or just more memorable? And that's the reason why you book a trip with us.
Hey, should I get just go to the Rainbow Reef for one day, or should I get the length of stay pass? And again, things along those lines. It's the little things that can enhance your trip. My travel tip is that Hawaii offers a different culture, but it is part of the United States. So the Hawaiian culture and its history are also American culture and history. So embrace it and learn from it. That there's so much magical stuff and amazing things that are endemic to the Hawaiian culture that if you embrace some of that, that it can enhance your life. Or knowing about it, experiencing it will give you some amazing memories. It's also a nice way to get outside of your comfort zone, experience something new, unique, something you haven't done before, but you don't need to learn a new language or exchange your currency or even get a passport. Although if you want to learn a new language, you can learn some Hawaiian while you are there. So if you have a destination or experience that you would like to have us discuss on the Where Yinz Goin podcast, or if you'd like to share your favorite destination or a travel tip, feel free to contact me. I'd love to hear your feedback and ideas. If you are already working with a Dreams by Design travel advisor, please continue to work with him or her. Otherwise, Maureen, how can people get a hold of you?
Email is Maureen at dreamsbydesigntravel.com. And my Facebook page is Dreams by Design Travel with Maureen.
Katie?
So my Facebook is Dreams by Design Travel with Katie. And my Instagram is Katie Dreams by Design Travel. And my email is Katie at dreamsbydesigntravel.com.
For me, my social media on Facebook, X, and Instagram, I am at Matt with DBD. Email is Matt, M-A-T-T, at dreamsbydesigntravel.com. The website for our company is dreamsbydesigntravel.com. All this information is in the episode description, so if you want to contact us to book a trip or if you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of us. You don't have to write all that down now or have a photographic memory. You have a way to look it up so you don't have to worry about spelling and all that good stuff. Ladies, thank you very, very much. This has been amazing. These past few episodes, I've ended and I've just been like, wow, this was a lot of fun to record, and so much great information and perspectives here.
Mahalo.
Exactly.
Mahalo. And aloha.
Aloha works on both ends. Yes. So please like, follow, subscribe, leave a review, tell a friend. If you liked what you heard, please tell other people about it. We'd like to get the word out about our podcast. Join us next time. We're heading out in that. We'll see you later.